Listen to me. This is not just a slogan. This is a mindset. I can because I'm capable, because I have what it takes. Not because life is easy, but because I was built for challenges. Every breath in my lungs is proof that I'm not done yet. I refuse to be defeated by circumstances, by opinions, or by fear. I will because I'm committed. I'm not here to try. I'm here to do. No excuses, no hesitation. I will show up when I don't feel like it. I will push when my body says stop. I will keep moving when the world says quit. I must because it's not optional. My dreams are not negotiable. My purpose is not for sale. My future depends on the work I put in today. I must keep going for the people who believe in me. And even for the ones who don't, I must keep going for the version of me that refuses to settle for average. The world will try to convince you that you can't. Your mind will try to whisper that you're not ready. But the truth is, the moment you decide, I can, I will, I must, you become unstoppable. This isn't about motivation that fades in the morning. This is about transformation that lasts for a lifetime. This is about burning the bridges to your old excuses and walking into a new chapter where the only direction is forward. You can, you will, you must. Now go prove it. You have to start here with belief, because if you don't believe in yourself, every opportunity will slip through your fingers. I'm talking about that unshakable, unbreakable kind of belief, the kind that doesn't bend when life hits you, the kind that doesn't fade when the odds are stacked against you. You got to understand, your potential is not determined by your current situation. You might be broken right now. You might be exhausted. You might be surrounded by people who don't see your worth. But none of that changes what you're capable of. You can be standing in the middle of chaos and still carry a vision inside you that's bigger than the storm around you. That belief is the starting point, the fuel, the thing that gets you out of bed before the sun is up, the thing that keeps you moving when everything in you screams stop. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. No one is going to hand you that belief. No one is going to come and pour confidence into your veins. You have to decide for yourself right now that you have what it takes. And it's not about pretending life is easy. It's about knowing that no matter how hard it gets, you have the strength to rise. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to be convinced that somehow, some way, you will find a way. That belief is what separates the people who quit from the people who keep climbing. Think about it. Every person who's ever done something extraordinary started with the exact same doubts, the exact same fears, but they chose to believe anyway. They chose to silence the voice that said, you can't, and replace it with the voice that said, watch me. When you believe in yourself, you start to see opportunities where others see dead ends. You start to find solutions where others only see problems. Your belief changes the way you move, the way you speak, the way you attack every challenge in front of you. And here's where it gets powerful. The world responds to your belief. People will treat you based on the way you treat yourself. If you carry yourself like someone who is capable, deserving, and ready, you will attract opportunities that match that energy. If you walk into a room with your shoulders back, your head high, and a fire in your eyes, you communicate without saying a word that you belong there. But if you walk in doubting yourself, hesitating, second-guessing every step, the world will reflect that right back at you. So you got to make a choice. Will you let your current situation define you, or will you let your belief define your situation? Will you allow the voices of doubt to drown out the whispers of possibility, or will you turn up the volume on your own inner conviction until it's the only thing you hear? You have to decide right now. But no matter how many times you fall, no matter how many doors close in your face, you're going to keep standing up and saying to yourself, I can even when no one else believes it. You've got to build a belief so strong that failure doesn't scare you, rejection doesn't break you, and fear doesn't stop you. Because when you truly believe, commitment is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. And most people never cross it because they let their feelings run the show. Feelings will lie to you. Feelings will tell you, I'm tired, I'll do it tomorrow. Feelings will tell you, I'm not in the mood, I'll start when I feel ready. If you wait for the perfect moment, for the motivation to magically appear, you'll still be standing in the same place a year from now. You have to decide that your actions will be dictated by your commitments, not by your emotions. The problem is most people treat their goals like a casual relationship. They show up when it's convenient, when it feels good, when it's easy. But the ones who win treat their goals like a marriage. They show up every single day, whether it's raining, whether the sun's shining, whether they feel like it or not. You see, there will be days when you're tired, when your body aches, when your mind is screaming for you to quit. That's the moment that separates the average from the extraordinary. Anybody can put in work when they're energized, when the path is smooth, when everything is going according to plan. But the real test is when nothing's going your way, when you've been grinding for weeks without seeing results, when doubt starts creeping in. Will you still show up? Will you still honor your word to yourself? Because commitment is not about what you do when it's easy. It's about what you do when it's hard. Think about it like this. Your feelings are like the weather. Unpredictable, changing from moment to moment. One day it's sunny and clear. The next day it's stormy. But commitment is like the foundation of your house. It doesn't move when the weather changes. It doesn't crack just because the wind is howling. When you commit, you lock in, you burn the bridge to the easy way out, and you decide that no matter how you feel, you're still going to take the next step. This is why so many people quit right before the breakthrough. They think success is about inspiration, but it's really about consistency. It's about waking up and doing the work. Even when you don't see the immediate payoff, the muscles you're building, the skills you're developing, the habits you're strengthening, they're all growing behind the scenes. You might not notice the progress day to day, but one day the world will see the results of the seeds you planted when no one was watching. And here's the truth. When you honor your commitments over your feelings, you build a kind of self-respect that no one can take from you. You start to trust yourself. You start to realize, if I say I'm going to do it, I will do it, no matter what. That's when the game changes. Because once you learn how to act without waiting for motivation, once you learn how to move without permission from your emotions, you become unstoppable. You no longer rely on hype, you rely on discipline. And discipline will take you places motivation never could. You'll stop quitting on yourself every time it gets uncomfortable. And instead, you'll start chasing discomfort because you know that discomfort is the price of admission for the life you want. You show up on the days when it's pouring rain, when your body says rest, when your mind says it's too much. Because deep down, you know that every time you keep your commitment, you're building the strength, the grit, and the courage to, when you treat your goals like an option, you give yourself permission to walk away when it gets hard. That's why so many dreams die, because people leave themselves an escape route. They keep a plan B in their back pocket just in case the work feels too heavy. What if you want to change your life? You have to remove that back door. You have to decide that what you're chasing is not up for debate, not up for negotiation, not something you'll see how it goes with. It's either you get it or you don't stop until you do. This is what I call the no option mentality, the mindset where quitting isn't even on the table. When you remove the option to quit, something powerful happens. Your mind stops wasting energy thinking about how to get out and starts focusing entirely on how to push through. You start finding solutions you didn't see before because your brain is no longer split between maybe I will and maybe I won't. Think about it. A soldier in battle doesn't get to decide halfway through the fight that they're tired and they're going home. No, they dig in, they adapt, they survive because the mission is non-negotiable. Your goals have to be treated with that same urgency and commitment. Most people fail, not because they can't do it, but because they give themselves too many ways to back out. They say, if it doesn't work in 6 months, I'll try something else. They say, if I don't see results soon, maybe it's not for me. That mindset kills dreams before they even have a chance to grow. The truth is, anything worth having will take longer, cost more, and demand more from you than you expect. If you keep your exit door open, you will take it the moment things get uncomfortable. But if you shut that door and throw away the key, you'll force yourself to dig deeper, to tap into a level of resilience you didn't know you had. When you operate with a no-option mentality, the work changes. Every failure becomes feedback. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback. And every obstacle becomes a test of how bad you want it. You stop saying, I hope this works, and start saying, it has to work, so I'm going to find a way. And that's when you stop dabbling and start dominating. You stop half committing and start going all in. There's no more, I'll see how it goes. There's only, this is happening no matter what. And here's the secret. Once you decide you have no other choice but to succeed, your energy changes. You start moving like someone with nothing to lose and everything to gain. You work harder, you think smarter, you push longer. You stop entertaining the idea of failure, not because it's impossible, but because it's irrelevant. The only path is forward. The only direction is up. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start demanding, what do I need to do to make it work? You begin to carry yourself differently, speak differently, and think differently. Because in your mind, there is no other outcome except the one you're chasing. You've burned the ships, you've sealed the doors, and now doubt will creep in like a thief in the night. It will sneak into your thoughts when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're standing at the edge of a breakthrough but can't see it yet. Sometimes it comes from people around you, the ones who say, be realistic, or maybe this isn't for you. Other times it comes from your own mind, whispering, you're not good enough, or what if you fail? That's the dangerous thing about doubt. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle, disguised as logic or caution, but make no mistake, its goal is the same, to stop you from moving forward. You have to learn to defy it. You have to look doubt in the eye and say, I hear you, but I'm going anyway. You can't wait for doubt to disappear before you take action, because it won't. It will always be there in some form. The people who succeed aren't the ones who feel no fear or doubt. They're the ones who act in spite of it. They don't let the noise dictate their moves. They understand that doubt is just a sign that they're pushing into new territory, stepping into something bigger than what they've known before. The presence of doubt means you're growing. And if you let that stop you, you'll never find out what's on the other side of your effort. The tricky thing is, doubt can sound convincing. It will remind you of every past failure, every time you came up short, every time someone didn't believe in you. It will point to the facts, to the numbers, to the reasons why this time won't be different. That's why you have to protect your mind like a fortress. You can't let every opinion in. You can't give every thought a seat at your table. When doubt knocks, you don't have to answer the door. Instead, you replace it with a voice that says, I can, even when you feel like you can't. You flood your mind with reasons why you're capable, with memories of every challenge you've already overcome. And understand that sometimes the people planting seeds of doubt in your mind aren't trying to hurt you. They're just speaking from their own fears, their own limitations. They're projecting their insecurities onto you, but you can't carry their baggage on your journey. If they want to sit on the sidelines and watch, that's fine. But you're in the game. You're moving forward. You're building something they can't see yet. They're projecting their insecurities onto you, but you can't carry their baggage on your journey. If they want to sit on the sidelines and watch, that's fine. But you're in the game. You're moving forward. You're building something they can't see yet. When you choose to defy doubt, you step into a different version of yourself. You stop seeking approval because you know some people won't get it until it's done. You stop hesitating because hesitation gives doubt more room to grow. Instead, you act quickly. You move with conviction. You take risks, and you keep your eyes locked on the vision. You understand that the voice of doubt will always be there, but it doesn't get the final say. The final say belongs to your determination, your grit, your refusal to back down. You keep showing up, not because you've silenced every doubt, but because you've learned how to keep walking with it in the background, knowing it can't stop you unless you let it. When you move with purpose, every step matters. You're not just working for yourself, you're working for something bigger, something that pulls you forward when everything else tries to hold you back. Purpose is the fuel that doesn't run out. The fire that doesn't die when the winds of hardship blow. Without it, discipline becomes a burden and the grind feels meaningless. But when you know why you're doing it, when you have a reason that lives deep in your chest, the work becomes non-negotiable. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And start saying, I have to because my purpose demands it. Purpose gives you clarity when the road gets blurry. It reminds you who you are when life tries to make you forget. It's the reason you keep going after rejection, after failure, after people laugh at your dreams. When you're driven by purpose, you're not just chasing a goal, you're answering a calling. And that calling will keep you in the fight long after the hype fades. Think about the days when you wanted to quit. Those heavy mornings when you wake up and everything in your body says, stay in bed. Those long nights when it feels like you're putting in all this work and no one even notices. In those moments, motivation isn't enough. That's when purpose steps in. Purpose will whisper, get up.
This isn't just about you. This is about your future, your family, the people counting on you, the ones watching you even when you don't realize it. That's when you realize quitting would mean letting more than just yourself down.
When you operate with purpose, you stop being casual about your life. You stop treating your dreams like a hobby and start treating them like a mission. You understand that every day you waste is a day further from the life you're meant to live. And you start making decisions differently. You stop hanging around people who drain your energy. You stop spending hours on things that don't move you forward. You start aligning your actions with where you're going, not where you've been. And here's the thing. Purpose will make you endure things other people would walk away from. It will make you push through pain, work in silence, and grind in the dark because you know the light is coming. You'll be willing to do the things others won't because you see what's at stake if you don't. Purpose gives you patience when the results are slow and courage when the obstacles are big. It's the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm, the compass that keeps you pointed in the right direction when distractions try to pull you off course. Once you've locked into your purpose, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop needing someone else to validate your path. You stop letting the world tell you what's possible. You start moving like someone on a mission because that's exactly what you are. You show up early, you stay late, you sacrifice comfort because you know the cost of staying the same is far greater than the cost of pushing forward. You understand that your purpose isn't just about what you get. It's about who you become and what you give along the way. Every setback becomes part of the story. Every challenge becomes a test of how much you're willing to fight for it. And every small win becomes proof that you're on the right path, no matter how long it takes. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark fades. You can get hyped up by a video, a speech, a song, but hype doesn't last. It's like a sugar rush. It feels good for a moment, then it's gone, and you're back to where you started. That's why so many people start strong, but never finish. They rely on motivation to carry them, not realizing that real transformation comes from discipline, from showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. The transformation mindset is about building yourself into someone who no longer needs to wait for the perfect mood to take action. When you shift from temporary motivation to permanent discipline, you stop being a victim of your emotions. You stop letting a bad mood or a rough morning dictate your effort. You learn to operate on commitment, not convenience. This is where the real change happens because transformation isn't about doing something once. It's about doing it so many times that it becomes a part of who you are. You don't just work out, you become the kind of person who works out. You don't just wake up early, you become the kind of person who values the early hours. You don't just chase goals, you become the kind of person who refuses to quit until the goal is met. It's not glamorous. There's no applause for doing the right thing when no one is watching. But that's where transformation is built, in the quiet, in the daily grind, in the small decisions that most people overlook. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce the identity you're building. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone who tries, but as someone who does. That shift in identity is powerful because once you see yourself as disciplined, you'll fight to protect that identity. And understand this, transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, steady process. You might not notice it happening, but one day you'll look back and realize you've become someone completely different. The habits you used to struggle with are now second nature. The things that used to intimidate you now feel routine. That's the reward of discipline. It rewires you from the inside out. Most people quit because they're addicted to instant results. They want the reward without the repetition. But those who truly transform understand that results are just a byproduct of the person they've become. They stop obsessing over how long it's taking and start focusing on who they're becoming in the process. They know that the grind, the sacrifice, the discipline is shaping them into someone who can handle the success when it comes. When you live with a transformation mindset, you stop chasing motivation like a drug and start building the habits that will carry you whether you're excited or exhausted. You embrace the process even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, because you know every day you stay consistent, you're moving one step closer. You push through the days when nothing seems to be happening, because deep down you know that every rep, every page, every hour of work is stacking up, and sooner or later the world will see what you've been building in silence. Now go out there and show yourself what happens when quitting is not an option. The time isn't someday, it's now. The person isn't someone else, it's you. Say it until you believe it. Believe it until you live it. Live it until nothing can stop you.